Over the last few days, we've received some amazing news. Solavellan is finally officially confirmed to be a part of the Veilguard. With Dragon Age, the Veilguard's release right around the corner, and lots of new information dropping surrounding the Inquisitor and Solus, I couldn't help but share my thoughts on the most exciting part for me personally. I think myself and other Solavellans knew deep down it would be happening, but my stomach was in knots not knowing for sure. But we can now cast our anxieties aside thanks to some major updates, and an article that just dropped today. Of course, major The Veilguard spoilers ahead. There will also be some new released Veilguard footage in this video as well, so proceed at your own risk. Today, IGN's new article came out, and they officially mentioned Solavellan in it a few times. I will only be covering the Solavellan parts, but I will link the article in the description if you're interested in reading more. In the IGN article, which is written by Alex Stedman, Alex says that the dev team has been extremely tight-lipped as to the Inquisitor's actual role in the game, which we have all seen, until recently when we got to see a sneak peek of them in the character creator, which I'll cover later in the video. In the article, there is a quote from John Epler. He says, "I'd say the Inquisitor, to some degree, feels guilty or responsible for what Solus is doing to the world." This sentence hits me right in the feels. Putting myself in my Inquisitor's shoes, I can totally see how they would feel that way, especially a romance Solavellan. Alex tries to get more information on how exactly our Inquisitor will show up in the new game, but Bush says, "You're going to want to see it for yourself." Yeah, talk about ominous. Now my expectations are even higher, dude. I honestly am thankful though for the secrets around the Inquisitor. Of course I want to know everything, but this is one of those things that I've waited so long for that I would much rather experience it for the first time come the end of October than see it on Twitter in a spoiler video. Corinne Bush continues with, "But they'll have some very interesting contributions, giving their history," referring to the Inquisitor. "Their relationship with Solus, which can be quite complicated as a Solavellan player," she says. "And don't judge me too hard, but as a Solavellan player, you know how complex that relationship between the Inquisitor and Solus could be. That is something we need to pay off, and I'm happy to say I think we did." Epler also acknowledges that the Inquisitor obviously has a very personal relationship with Solus, one that will need to be reckoned with in the Veilguard. One thing I have to say right off the bat is, as a Solavellan lover, it is so comforting to know that a fellow Solavellan has had oversight over my favorite romance. I feel much more at peace knowing they care just as much for Solavellan as the rest of us. But the statement of, "that is something we need to pay off, and I'm happy to say I think we did," that is huge. I am so excited to see what they have planned for us. Just this statement alone makes me absolutely 100% sure that it's going to be everything I'm hoping for and more. Apparently, the Inquisitor's relationship will need to be reckoned with in the Veilguard. And quickly, while we're on the topic, in another article that came out recently by Inverse, Corinne was interviewed there too and said, "I don't want to spoil anything here. Of course, the Inquisitor does make an appearance and you can customize whether you had that romance or not. Solus is a big part of this narrative, and in your discussions with the Inquisitor, you'll have to face some of those questions about the nature of that relationship." So that means Rook is going to be able to bring up their relationship to the Inquisitor in some manner. I'm also hoping Solus. This is super exciting to think about. What type of questions will we be able to ask, and how are they going to respond? Epler continues in the IGN article, "Whether you're a Solavellan and you've romanced Solus, or even just any other Inquisitor, you journeyed with Solus for quite some time," he says. "And I'd say the Inquisitor, to some degree, feels guilty or responsible for what Solus is doing to the world. So while we're not going to get too far into the details about what role they may play, they absolutely are somebody who is going to be interested and invested in the outcome of Rook's journey in the Veilguard." I've been talking to my friend Lady Sulavian, and she suspects that the Inquisitor will be an advisor. I think she's right based on the information we have here, and I cannot wait to see everything for myself when the game releases. Lastly, for this article in particular, we finally have confirmation on what choices will be carried over from Inquisition to the Veilguard. Those decisions are who your Inquisitor romanced, whether you disband the Inquisition, and whether you vowed to stop Solus or save him. These decisions are really good, though I can't say I'm not slightly disappointed by there not being more to pick from. Regardless, the romance choice is there, and the big one. Stop Solus or save him, which I expect will have a massive impact on the game's ending and Solus's ending. There is more on this in the article, so if you want to know more on why they chose to have less options to pick from, I recommend reading it yourself, as I'm not going to cover it in this video. Moving on to some of the other news surrounding Solavellan and the Inquisitor. As we've known for a while now, we knew that we would be able to customize the Inquisitor in the character creator, and be able to pick some choices that carry over from Inquisition. Well, we finally got our first look of the Inquisitor in the character creator, and this is huge. The first thing that jumps out to me, a Lavellan with no Valisline is apparently the default world state, which is crazy because we all know that only Lavellans who romance Solus can have their Valisline removed. And we can also see their prosthetic arm here, which looks interesting, but I'll need to have a better look at it before I share my thoughts on it. And here we can read, Inquisitor Lavellan came from an elven clan in the wilderness. An able hunter, her skills were put to the test battling demons and other monsters as the head of the Inquisition. Here's a look at the Inquisitor's details. Here we can see some tarot cards for lineage, and we see the same elven tarot card card for when you pick a Dalish elf in the Inquisition, which I just love this art. I'm so glad they decided to keep it. And here we have a summary of the past adventures of the Inquisition. Murderer, Herald, Judge, Savior. These were some of the titles heaped on the Inquisitor as she led a force that challenged nations. 8 years ago, a catastrophic breach in the Fade, realm of magic and dreams, threatened the world. Through circumstance, or some claim fate, a woman rose to lead an organization known as the Inquisition. Traveling many lands, rallying people to her cause, the Inquisitor closed the breach and stopped the villain behind it. She was advised throughout by an elven mage named Solus. The Inquisitor discovered, however, that Solus was in truth an ancient elven god, then Peril, the Dreadwolf. He planned to restore things to their primal state when the Fade and the physical reality were one. Solus said he regretted the deaths this would cause, but claimed there was no other way to fix what was, to his eyes, an irredeemably broken world. After that, the Dreadwolf vanished, but the Inquisitor swore to find him. There is no mention of Solus and the Inquisitor's relationship, which again, you can't not have no Valasleen if you didn't romance Solus, so I'm really hoping that when we actually get to be in the game that this will be updated to talk about the relationship. As of right now, this is awesome. I absolutely love this summary. I'm really excited. Again, this is huge, guys. This is our first real confirmation that Solavellan will, in fact, be a part of the Veilguard. Like I said earlier, we knew deep down it was likely to happen. I mean, the devs know what we went through. There's no way they didn't at least acknowledge it in a small part of the game, and it seems like, based on these other articles, that it's going to be an even bigger part of the game than we initially thought it even would be. That's all for now. I just want to say that if I messed up any of the quotes in the article, I am so sorry. I'm not very proficient at reading articles, and it wasn't super clear to me at times who was speaking. I think I did an okay job, but if I get anything wrong, please excuse that. And apologies on my month-long absence. I've been incredibly busy, but I'm still here. I hope you guys are getting just as excited for the Veilguard's release in a month as I am. I can hardly contain my excitement some days. While you're here, you should join my Discord. You can talk with me and others about the game, and you should follow my Twitter to stay up to date. Both are linked in the description below. And before I leave, I just have to shout out Captain Mad Tweets on Twitter for this gorgeous commission of my Lavalin, Cassian, and Solus. This is my dream Solavellan happy ending, and they completely brought it to life for me. Thank you again. Like always, thanks for watching, and may the Dreadwolf take you.